Peaceful greetings and welcome back to my channel. So I started another video, but people kept walking through and video bombing my video, and rather than having to edit them out, I'm just starting a new one because it's ridiculous. So anyways, a guy was walking by and he was making malicious comments, saying that one of the ex assistant directors, he was glad that she stood up to a bully. Okay, now what's interesting about that is that these people have grouped together staff as well as guests that are playing like they're homeless. A lot of these people are not even homeless. Okay, they're able-bodied individuals that actually have places, other places. Okay, and so they're acting like they're homeless and they're bullying me. Okay, they have actually targeted me since I've been here. And I know that part of it is because this situation is political, right? And they have this whole beef between the two counties, Kings County and over here in Santa Cruz, because, you know, the disrespect for even just, you know, the blatant disrespect. And then Hanford actually just not owning up to their BS and telling the truth, like, yeah, we just dumped her. I mean, they have like literal videos, okay, of what these people were doing, what these police officers did, where they took me. They have videos all over the town. So, you know, for them to just sit up there and attempt to, you know, fabricate and basically what it would be called in alleged courts is perjury. So they're just lying, okay, to cover their own asses. And that is not holding integrity. And that is also not righteous, you know. Obviously, it's not. So since I have been here, I have been literally targeted individual. But after my situation aired on the news, the targeting and harassment, bullying towards me went to an all-time high, and it has continued even to date, as the dude just walked by and stated what he stated about me being a bully, which is very weird because I literally mind my business. I just made a logo for their food company that this program is in partnership with, and I'm not in the drama and nonsense that a lot of these people are carrying on here, because I'm not in their quote unquote program for drugs and alcohol and, you know, mental illness and stuff like that. So in a lot of ways, what is going on with the community of people here, I'm not a part of that anyways. And that's part of why I know that I've been targeted, because I don't do drugs. I don't have mental health. And they would rather fill the bed spaces with people that do, because they get the most money for each individual that actually has one of those types of issues. And the other thing is that if you don't have one of those identified issues or aforementioned issues of being a drug addict, having alcoholism, or some kind of mental health, and they can't get the highest dollar for you, they will do things like this, which is, you know, put you on the streets, or they will, you know, outright just ask you to lie, okay, so that they can get more money through the different programs. So there's that aspect. So the mayor of Santa Cruz actually made a new ordinance based on what happened to me and me being transported, 3 hours, 4 hours away, to a place that I was just abandoned with no resources. Well, what is this shelter doing but attempting to exit me? The people first, the ARMORY, is and has given me notice that I am to be exited today at 12 noon, or by 12 noon. They have no way for me to get my wagon that Hanford PD actually brought up here on a flatbed dolly. Uh, they have no way, they have not stated any way for me to get my private property down this hill other than the shelter's lift line shuttle, in which they've literally obstructed me from using up all the days leading up to this. So I have been refused the ability to use the shelter shuttle, even with one bag on the back of my wheelchair. That was a regular removable backpack, which all of my other bags were removable. Part of the reason why I do um, know that they wanted me to take the bags off is because they were wanting me to take the bags off because there's specific things within those bags that they were attempting to steal. Okay, there are specific things that they're looking for, and they've been on the back of my wheelchair. So the thing is that it has been purposeful. So anyways, I wanted to show you guys, this was a contract that they wanted me to sign, right? And at first I was like, I was stating, well, let me show you the front. This is the front. I thought that was the front, but I was looking at it backwards. So when they first talked to me about this alleged contract, right? And they do that because they were utilizing situations that were untrue to validate why I needed to go on a contract at all. Okay. But here was added at the bottom the exit date 10/2/24 right here. Okay. So what is Santa Cruz doing different than Hanford? They're doing the same thing that they just made an ordinance about, which is they're attempting to throw me out on the streets with no resources in place, not even a way to get my private property down a mountain. Okay, me in a wheelchair, giving me a very limited amount of time when I'm already sore from moving the other day all my private property out of a tent to move it over for some other guys that has been harassing me, his complaints, right? So, and then yesterday, having to do my laundry by hand, okay? And so they're continually attempting to photobomb, video bomb my video, okay? So I will edit that out, okay? And so, anyways, the point is that what is Santa Cruz doing that's different? Tell me. What are they doing that's different than Hanford? They're calling the kettle black, but they're literally doing the same things. So let me say this. They're attempting to say that this is not an ADA shelter because it's an emergency shelter. So that means that you're attempting to state, because on the website it says that you're not ADA, that means that you don't have to comply with not discriminating against a certain population who is actually wheelchair bound with walkers. You're not going to be in compliance with ADA because it says it on your website, but there are laws in place that state, regardless if you're a 501c, if you are a nonprofit, if you are a church, if you're Starbucks, it don't matter if you're the library, you are supposed to still be non-discriminatory against what? Sex, religion, right? Nationality, gender, right? And what? Disability. Okay. So you're discriminating against disabled by not being, ADA compliant and in ADA violations. And then when I filed an inspector general complaint of stolen mail, right? Stolen post. And then last Friday, it was just a few days ago, this past Friday, the 27th, September 27th, I filed with the Department of Justice in Washington, District of Columbia, D.C., a formal complaint for American Disabilities Act violations. So I just literally sent that off. They were fully aware that I was sending it off. The case manager here, Carter Strange, was actually the one that uh, helped me get to their uh, group mailbox or whatever out at the street. I didn't even know where it was. He showed me where it was at and went out there with me, and I put it in the mailbox. Okay, so with that being done Friday, that they were attempting to actually stall me until Monday, because I think they already had this orchestrated, right? The director was literally stating that she wasn't going to be able to give me the rest of the grievances to put in with the formal ADA complaint. And so she stated that she wasn't going to be able to do that until Monday because she had donations that other staff could have handled, right? She made herself busy with that so she wouldn't be able to give me the grievances, which is an obstruction of justice. It is obstruction delaying me to actually put my post in to the United States Postal Service, because you're blocking me from being able to send it off. I said, you know what? That's okay. The ones that I have in my file that I had with my case manager, Carter Strange, I just had him give me the copies that he had in his file, which was not all of them. I sent it off Friday and let them know that there were more that were supposed to be coming. Okay. Because I wasn't giving them all. And I still, to this day, Monday passed, okay, and she never gave me the rest of the grievances, copies of the grievances in my file, okay? So that still has not been done, okay? Now, the other thing is that, so you're delaying it on Friday for Monday. They stated that they were going to move me numerous times from from the tent that I'm in, because of the simple fact that this guy has been harassing me as my next door neighbor, because allegedly my tent is touching his. That is what he has utilized as his excuse for his very poor, aggressive, bullying behavior, okay, towards me. And he actually stole some of my private property, and I called the police on him. And I got reprimanded for calling the police, and one of the managers actually hung up the phone when I was talking to the police, which is a no-no, because now you're actually obstructing me from getting justice, from being safe, and all of those other things. She hung up the phone on the 911 call, and then was telling me not to call back. And I was like, excuse me, yes, I am going to call back. So the thing is that they attempted to reprimand me about that, but part of the thing that they were attempting to use and utilize against me for the move was not about him. They were alleging that it was because my cat sprays. Well, my cat actually was hit by a car 4 months ago, okay? He was nursed back to health, and also what they're not taking into consideration that they actually have been put on proper notice of is that my cat was outdoors. He was not on a leash, right? He was not on a harness 24 hours a day, okay? Like he has to be here, okay? That is very stressful for him, okay? And that is, causing him pain and suffering from, emotional like stress from having to be on a leash. He doesn't know why he's being trapped and held hostage in a tent or on a leash all the time. He is used to being able to travel and move about freely, and he's not being able to do that. So he has, since we've been here, been learning how to use a kitty litter. He also did not know how to use a kitty litter. Okay, and that is not being taken into consideration. They're just acting like he knows how to use a kitty litter, and he didn't come here already with trauma, and that he's just supposed to not ever have any accidents. The other thing is that there are other male cats here that do get loose. Some of them do come in my tent, and he's marking his territory as a cat normally would, that still has their package. Okay. We'll just say it. He has not been neutered. Okay. So he still has his balls. Okay. So there is a whole bunch of things that are not being stated and taken into consideration as far as that goes. The other thing that's not taken into consideration is I did not pick the tent space that I was put in. So they knew that I was going to be an individual that was going to have a bedside commode, and they knew that I had a cat and there was going to be kitty litter. I did not tell them to put me in an area that there's going to be, food being prepared, right? And where they have the dining hall, like my tent faces that. So that was poor management, and that has nothing to do with me of where I was actually placed, to stay, right? They could have picked anywhere else, and they actually chose that space. Okay. And so the other thing is that with that choice, they should have chose differently, but they knew that they were going to premeditatedly knew that they were going to make this an issue, so they needed to put me there. And then when they stated that they were going to move me, the statement was made that they were going to move me outside, and the outside tents are on gravel rock, and the gravel rock is actually covered by just like a thin mat. Okay. And that thin mat, they were saying, was going to be sufficient for my wheelchair to actually be able to roll on. Okay. Which I was like, it's going to sink. It's going to sink with my weight. It's going to sink into the mats, and it's going to be a problem where I'm not going to actually be able to roll my wheelchair. Okay, see the rocks? And then just like, a yoga mat or some kind of mat that you would find. It's not even the real gym mats. Yeah. Okay, so those are the mats. Those are the mats. Okay. So that's the first thing that I was saying and stating was going to be an ADA issue before they were threatening to put me in an outside tent with two unstable surfaces, right? An unstable surface on another unstable surface. Yeah, I wasn't making formal complaints for all the other ADA violations that were occurring. Okay, like the tent spaces being so small that I can barely roll in with a, cot and a commode in there. So anyways, and then obviously with my cat's kitty litter and the bins or totes or whatever. So the thing is that the space was very small. I was never offered an ADA actual yeah. I was never offered an ADA space in what they consider the ADA room, but to my knowledge, that area is not an actual ADA compliant area either. And on top of that, there was an opening that I was not offered that there by staff that was available for them to put me in there. They never came to me and asked me if I would like to go in there. Okay, when it was available. So, anyways, they're attempting to be very distractive and disruptive while I'm doing this video. I don't know, to make me, mess up my video, but regardless, it's getting posted. So the other thing is that that is when I actually was like, this has to be reported to the ADA because they can't put me on an unstable surface and another unstable surface. Like that's unacceptable. And so they allegedly were stating that they were going to move me to a place inside. They had the space available. It was where another man that I knew was no longer, I guess, coming back or whatever. And so that space, they said that they were going to move me to today, which is Wednesday, uh, October 2nd, 2024. And so, because of this guy, my alleged neighbor or whatever, like totally at, okay, so the assistant, or the, what is her position? Anyways, this woman who is Jessica Stark's, or whatever her last name is, her boss just showed up and she's over there talking with Erica. So anyways, um, yeah, so the thing is that this guy at dinner was literally disruptive, rude, harassing, aggressive. I was just literally went through the dinner line. I don't usually eat the lunches or dinners because the simple fact is that it is not things that I can eat because of my gluten and lactose allergies. And so I just got some like hot water to make some bone broth and a few other little things or whatever. But I had a plate with my bone broth, excuse me, my hot water to make my bone broth and stuff in and on, and I just set the plate down on the table, and this guy comes around because his tent is facing away from the food court, if you will, cafeteria, whatever. It's just like an open space with tents and then a food station or whatever with tables and where they can serve. And anyways, he comes around and he's like literally like yelling and just like irate, total body and face red, literally like angry, like he could hit somebody. Okay. And I was like, you know, from the moment he started in, I knew that he was like upset. Obviously, everybody knew he was upset. And he was yelling at me. And I stated to him very clearly, I have nothing to say to you, and you have nothing to say to me. And I looked at staff, back at staff, and was like, can somebody do something? Right? Can somebody stop him? They were looking like deers caught in the headlights, okay, and did nothing. And I asked them 2 times loudly. I was talking to them, and they knew it because I'm directing my attention to them. They did nothing. Okay. So the other thing is that that's when I called the police on this man, and I got in trouble by staff, management, for calling the police on this man that literally stole my private property, put it in his tent, and then they attempted to gaslight me and state that he just moved it down in front of his tent. I didn't see it anymore. So regardless, the point is I have been targeted, harassed, stalked not just around the facility, right, but also around town when I was able to use the shuttle. These people were following me everywhere. Okay. And they employed other people to follow me too. So it has been orchestrated, and it has been a whole bunch of them trying to basically watch out for each other rather than do what's right and tell the truth and do the right thing in this situation. And I've seen it with other people's situations that was just unacceptable and uncalled for. It's unprofessional. It's definitely a lot of bias stuff going on, and they're attempting to you know, um, basically, how do you say, watch each other's backs, or have each other's backs in situations that they should be honorable enough to say that, you know what, you were wrong in this situation and that shouldn't be going on. Okay. And that's not happening with none of them. They are all, and it's unfortunate, but let's call the kettle black, talking about the ordinance and